watching Watch People Die, a show where we break down and kill count the good, the bad, and the ugly of horror. I'm Van, and today we're taking a look at 2016's Sadako VS Kayako, a crossover between the Ringu and Ju-On franchise. These girls went all out on promoting their movie. After all, this is Japan's Freddy vs. Jason, or even their Batman vs. Superman. It was a big deal for Japanese horror fans. As for separate promotional material, Sadako would be very active on Twitter, and Kayako had an Instagram, where she'd post photos of her and her son Toshio. The Instagram is still around, albeit inactive, and can be found at Kayako with Toshio. And as of the time of making this video, Sadako is still fairly active on Twitter, and can be found at Sadako3D. They did a series of videos focused on things like theater etiquette, popcorn, promoting their social medias, as well as each of them having done a political speech type of video. I couldn't find translations for these, but I assume this had to do with the contest to see which character would win and the fans vote for who they thought would win. And this lady straight up dies in Kayako's. I thought we'd show this here because, well, obviously this isn't going in the kill count. They also held an event in Shibuya City that included Sadako's and Kayako's dancing to the kick-ass song they made for the movie. And probably the coolest advertising done for this movie, in the beginning of June, a baseball game featuring the Nippon Ham Fighters and the Occult Swallows was interrupted by Sadako, Kayako, and Toshio, who staged the first pit ceremony. With advertising out of the way, let's talk about the movie itself. Originally starting off as an April Fool's joke in 2015, Sadako vs. Kayako sees a clash of Japan's two biggest horror icons. The Ring storyline involves two girls who stumble upon the tape while checking out a VCR they bought, and as for the Ju-On side of things, although there's considerably less of it than there is Ring story, we see a girl move into her new home, right next door to the haunted house. Their stories collide when a pair of exorcists try to put an end to Sadako's curse, and by the end of it, these stories aren't the only thing colliding. With that out of the way, how many people fall victim to Sadako and Kayako? Let's find out and get to the breakdown. It's time to watch people die. The movie opens up on a title card. And as much as I'd love to be watching the original version of the film, I'm stuck with this English dub until my Blu-ray arrives. Always support filmmakers, but also, if you already bought or own a copy, is it really a big deal to stream a digital one? I don't think so. You did pay for it after all. It looks like we're starting off with the Ju-On story first. The lady goes inside the house, looking for the owner who hasn't been seen lately.
Miss Yasue, why weren't you answering me?
Note to self, since I'm going to review this movie, add an additional point to the final rating, because I know this shitty dub is definitely going to affect it. Exploring the home, the lady enters a room with a blue screen TV, and finds Miss Yasue on the ground, with a look of fear on her face. Dang, looks like that brief shot of the static TV in the intro wasn't just a cool transition from the title card. Better run while you can, otherwise your ass getting cursed. Sadako takes no prisoners, so it's safe to say we're never going to see her again. We're now at university, where we're learning about urban legends, like the Slit-Mouth Woman and Hanako of the Toilet. As two girls, Yuri and Natsumi, are falling asleep, the teacher asks if anyone's heard of the legends or know anyone who's dealt with them. The teacher then raises his own hand, and then says, "Lol, they're fake."
They are just fabrications.
Well, in that case, why'd you raise your hand? The teacher then goes on to discuss the tape, saying the legend started in the 90s, and a girl named Sadako calls you saying you'll die in 2 days. Because in this movie, the curse is a little bit different. Based off this, it's quite possible that although this is an alternate timeline with an altered curse, some of the events from the previous films, like the 1998 original Ring, may have actually happened in this universe, or simply just exist as urban legends. He continues his fanboying over Sadako, saying he believes it's real, but also not, because otherwise the video would be all over the internet. He then says he'll pay a lot of money for the tape, and says he wants Sadako within the next 2 days.
I'd pay a lot of money for the real video. I really want to see Sadako, but bring her to me quickly within 2 days.
That part of his talk just felt weird. And though I can't understand 99% of Japanese, I feel like the original audio with subtitles would have made this odd scene feel pretty normal and less weird. Or maybe he just is, in fact, a huge Sadako simp. Teach then goes, "Want to know why I'm obsessed with Sadako?" and segues into an ad for his book, telling his students to buy it.
Everything is written in this book. I wrote it. I published it myself. Please buy it.
That'd be like me stopping the video to tell everyone that I got this killer zombie apocalypse series called When Was. It's available on Amazon.com. Disgusting. The girls then leave, and Natsumi asks Yuri, since she sucks at everything, if she can burn this VHS tape of her parents' wedding onto a DVD. She needs it in 2 days, and in exchange for 5 lunches, she says she can do it in the 2-day time limit. We then cut to Suzuka and her parents, who are moving into their home. And now, we start the Ju-On story. It looks like the new home is right next door to Kayako's. I guess just being on the sidewalk is enough to get you cursed. I'm not as familiar with the Ju-On movies, but that'll change once we finish up the Ring. We're now back with Yuri and Natsumi. We're on the hunt for a VCR. And luckily for them, there's one right here. It's pretty cheap, and it comes with Sadako's hair. Once back at one of the girls' homes, they set up the VCR, and out pops an unmarked tape. Yuri then decides to stick it back in and press play, even though just the sight of the tape itself was enough to freak out Natsumi. As the tape begins, Yuri gets distracted by a text message, but based off the pants-shitting look on Natsumi's face, she watched every second of it. Yuri looks up from her phone to see it's ended, and when she suggests rewatching it, Natsumi immediately turns off the TV, telling her she thinks it's the cursed video. And in that case, just hand it over to your teacher. They seem to have just as big of a hard-on for her as Jotaro Nago, the smallpox-carrying doctor from the book. Yuri has the same idea, and says that she'll tell it to the teacher, and while Natsumi's freaking out about how she'll die, Yuri tries to comfort her, telling her it's all fake and she didn't even get a phone call. Ladies, I think that might have been the cursed tape. Seeing Sadako causes Natsumi to break down crying, and then we cut to the shop they bought the VCR from. Turns out the girl working here intentionally sold it knowing the cursed tape was inside, and what would you know, she also watched it herself. Right after making a joke about how she'll die soon, the girl dies soon. And now we cut to Suzuka, who's now just wandering around the abandoned house next door. Nah, I'm just kidding, that was a dream. The next day, we see Suzuka getting a history lesson from some girls about the haunted house she lives next to, and they tell her that a man murdered his wife and son there, before killing himself as well. Back with Yuri and Natsumi, they're trying to return the VCR, but the store is closed, and the father of the girl who dies says it came from the house of the old woman who died in the opening. The man then tells them that the lady who checked on the old woman was dead too, and that one of their workers, being the girl, died 2 days after watching the tape, causing Natsumi to panic, and for the girls to get their Sadako fanboy teacher for help.
Oh, I know. You came to buy my book.
Man, shut up with your book! They talk with the teacher a bit about how Natsumi watched the tape. Now she might die in one day if the legend is true. And come on girl, you saw Sadako. All that freaky shit happened, you know it's true. And this causes the teacher to agree to watch the tape.
I'll transfer it to DVD.
Okay, weirdo. The teacher then watches it and fanboys over finally having the authentic killer videotape. The girls then ask him, since he wrote a book all about Sadako, if there's a way to stop it, and says that you can by showing someone the tape. But apparently, Natsumi didn't show me the tape. You girls gave it to me. That right there is some major bullshit.
I can't stand it. I'd rather kill myself than wait for that hideous Sadako.
Nat, you haven't seen Hideous Sadako until you've seen Sadako 3D. Back with Suzuka, we see her walk up to a group of kids as they bully a boy and force him to go inside the haunted house with a book bag full of rocks. Oh look, a Toshio. Little man is stupid. If he's dying, he's taking them pricks with him. Stepping outside, he chucks a rock at the lead boy's face, causing him to run in after him. One of the little boys wandered into the kitchen. After getting spooked by the ghost cat, Kayako, or maybe Toshio, there were some little hands, pulls him into the cupboards. Hey glasses, the bathroom is occupied. The lead boy makes his way upstairs after the bully victim, and as he opens the door to his hiding spot, gets thwacked in the face with yet another stone. And before the bully has a chance to retaliate, Toshio leaps onto his shoulders, and Mommy Kayako grabs the bullied kid by the head, and the two take them away. The girls then meet up with the teacher, and the group heads to an exorcist lady to hopefully get some help with this curse. They're told by the exorcist that this is the most terrifying thing she'd ever seen, but tells them she won't let them die, and agrees to help. But don't forget the teacher's a huge simp for Sadako, and since he wants to meet her, he's like, nah, just save Natsumi, I'm good fam. And the exorcist is not gonna fight him on it, so she just says, fine, I don't care, whatever man. The lady, as she does her little exorcist chant, takes them to a place where they attempt to exorcise the tape. And Natsumi, drink up. Damn, maybe she's getting rid of the demon by getting rid of Natsumi. Calm down, you're gonna drown her. Just gonna try and brute force the demons out, huh? What did she do?
Whatever is inside this girl, I want you to show yourself!
Well, you did ask her to show herself. As the exorcist is attempting to banish the evil, the power of Sadako compels one of her assistants to break the other one's neck. And then her own. After that, Sadako begins killing the exorcist, and just as the lady tells him she called a more powerful exorcist, Sadako adds her onto the kill count. The teacher then goes nuts, screaming things like, do you see Sadako? Tell me how to see her! Show Sadako to me! And since Sadako is still in control of the situation, she uses the exorcist's corpse to strangle and headbutt him to death. Thank you.
Yuri, it's all your fault.
Whoa now, she might have played the tape, but you're the whole reason she went out and bought a VCR to begin with? I think you killed yourself just as much as she killed you. Being the hero, Yuri then has Natsumi hand her the tape, thus counting as her handing over the curse. Running to the nearest VCR, Yuri pops in the tape, and ends the curse for Natsumi. So that's the full tape? No wonder they kept most of it off screen. The only thing worth watching is the last 5 seconds. Oh, hi Sadako! Heading back to the exorcism place, we're introduced to Tamo and Kyoso. But the hell with them, because we immediately hop back to the girls and see Natsumi calling Yuri stupid for saving her life.
You've done the most stupid thing.
Okay, well, she can easily pass it off to someone else and survive, or did you want to die? Heck, she could just give it right back to you. The phone then rings, signifying that Yuri now has the curse. You could have just hung up, but okay.
You watched that video too? Great, now you're gonna give me more work to do.
Natsumi's curse wasn't removed?
What?
You believe that stupid rumor? What a fool you are.
She's a fool for believing that the curse can be transferred by passing the tape on. This is a universe where a killer videotape exists. I wouldn't call her a fool, considering there's almost no verified documented information about it. You 5-year-old knockoff Thelma. After getting Kyoso his money, we learn that the kid is his assistant, because every grown-ass man needs a 5-year-old servant. That's not weird at all. And after the kid tells Yuri she doesn't see a future for her, things take a dark turn. Literally. Beckoning Sadako out, hair slithers out from Natsumi's mouth and into a bag where Kyoso would catch her, and do some funky hand tricks to make her calm down. He then says he has an idea, and when Yuri asks what, he says he'll have the two spirits fight each other. And this makes me wonder what the point of Suzuka was. I thought all 3 girls would meet at school or something, realize what was going on, and they'd come up with the idea together. But instead, Suzuka's only around for a couple scenes, just as a way to be like, hey look, Ju-On, and then this guy shows up out of the blue to bring them together. Alrighty then, speak of the devil. After the Ring girls get home, we continue the Ju-On stuff with Suzuka. But apparently she's not even worth a full minute, because right after being told by some girls that 4 boys went missing, we cut back to Yuri and Natsumi, who are watching the wedding video. They talk a little before Natsumi goes to take a shower. Might as well look all nice and clean if you're gonna be meeting death. And hey look, hair! But don't worry, that was all in your head, silly. Blindy McStick for Eyes and Kyoso are then seen going to Kayako's. The two check out the house from the front door, and talk about the fact that anyone who enters it dies. And just as they go to take a look around outside, we hear Kayako for the first time in the movie. It only took an hour. Well, it would appear that Kayako just so happens to have a handy-dandy well behind the house that's suitable for throwing girls into. Nice. As I head out, they see Suzuka and warn her to stay away before leaving. We then watch Suzuka eat for a minute before we check back in with Yuri and Natsumi and learn that Natsumi stole the teacher's DVD copy of the cursed video and posted it online. That right there is justification for any man, woman, or child to murder you. You piece of shit. This will be the most justified kill in the entire series.
Even if the curse kills others, we can kill ourselves, right? Well, isn't that better?
Yes, Natsumi, killing yourself would have been better, but before you posted it online. Natsumi then heads into another room to attempt to kill herself. Again, a little late, but hey, it's better than never. And in the background, the girl spots Sadako. Hell yeah, kill her, Sadako.
Get out of there!
I know she was a main character, but uploading the video online was some evil shit, so she really deserved it. And any likability she had was just thrown out the window. Suzuka's then seen sneaking out of the house to investigate the haunted one next door. She makes her way upstairs, and that's where she finds the little boy from earlier. Nah, I'm just playing. It's Toshio. She freaks out, causing her parents to run over and find her breaking down on the staircase. And as they attempt to help her down, Pops gets distracted by Toshio. Holy shit! What was I saying? Damn it. As Kayako makes her way downstairs, Suzuka's mom loses her feet and hits the floor. Trying to escape, as Suzuka opens the door, a bag of Sadako's hair gets tossed inside, and when the hair begins wrapping up Kayako's arm, she drags Footless away. See you later, Mom! Don't worry, Suzuka, it was just a dream.
It wasn't a dream. Your parents won't ever return.
Damn! Later that night, they head over to the house, with Yuri and Suzuka prepared to put an end to the curses. After setting up the TV and playing the cursed videotape, a noise begins coming from upstairs. And Sadako's on her way out too. Oh hi, it's you again. You gonna jump on some shoulders again? Shit, never mind. Guess you're now a victim of Sadako's and your dad's. Time for Sadako vs Kayako. Kayako delivers the first blow by slamming Sadako face first into the floor and dragging her off. But Sadako's not about to let her get away with that, and so she attempts to wrangle her with her hair. Unfortunately for her though, Kayako's not giving up. It's looking like this could be the end for Kayako as Sadako plunges her hair down her throat and into her eye. And pulling out the finisher, Sadako gives her the classic stink eye, causing Kayako's head to explode into a pool of blood. The humans rush in to try to put a stop to Sadako, but Kayako's back for round 2. And with an assist from Kyoso, she gets her hand on Sadako's tape, and taunts her by crushing it with her bare hand. Sadako ain't having none of that shit though, and once again wraps her hair around her. The gang then runs away, thus ending the fight for the audience, and we watch them discuss a plan to lure them towards the well, have them possess one of the girls, and for that girl to be trapped inside the well. And now Sadako's back, and so is Mommy. Keiko's back, guys. The two then run for Yuri, but just before getting her, she throws herself into the well, causing the two curses to merge. Oh my god. The merged amalgamation of Sadako and Kayako then goes down the well after Yuri. Maybe it was obvious, but I didn't notice it. Looks like Kyozo is down for the count. Guess he got injured in the blast. Rather than existing as a hideous blob monster, the two curses merged rather well. And now we get the birth of a whole new evil. Sadako. Kayako. It doesn't help that both their names end in Ko. Hey, Toshio's back. And with that, it can be assumed that Suzuka and Teimo are down for the count. And the movie ends after cursing the audience with a new video. In the end, 2016 Sadako vs Kayako has a total of 18 kills. 20 if you want to count Kayako and Toshio. Of those 18, 8 of them were performed by Sadako, 10 if we're counting Kayako and Toshio, 6 of them were performed by Kayako and Toshio, and 4 of them were killed by both. So who won in Sadako vs Kayako? Well, in terms of one defeating the other, neither of them. But as for the kill count, Sadako was the clear victor. Now let's hand out some awards. The bronze kitchen knife for worst kill goes to the younger woman we see in the beginning, who goes to check on the old woman. I would have gave it to the old woman herself, but I try not to include people who start off dead, unless there's no other choice. The silver hockey mask for best kill almost went to the teacher, because he was just so annoying. But on the other hand, it was way more fun seeing Kayako and Toshio double team the kids, so that goes to them. And finally, the golden frank for most memorable kill has to go to Yuri. To be honest, none of them really stick with you afterwards, but due to how important Yuri's death is, and the fact that it happens during the best moment in the movie, aside from the fight itself, you'll probably remember this one the most. There you have it, that's been Sadako vs Kayako. I had a lot of fun with this, more than expected honestly. I saw some people complaining about how it takes too long for the fight, but come the hell on. What do you expect when one of the killers are literally confined to a house? But in my opinion, there should have been a stronger Ju-On presence. This felt more like a Ringu movie with a hint of Ju-On sprinkled in. And aside from the fight, and the scene with the kids dying, we spend very little time with the Ju-On stuff in this movie, which is pretty unfortunate. If you like me and want to support what I do, you can become a channel member or patron over on Patreon, where you get exclusive perks like early access to new videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you back here again with more dead people. Have a nice day.